Hello everybody and welcome to Travel in the Know with Philip Saunders. Although you might not know it, I'm under the dome at the Louvre Museum in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. And apart from being France's most famous museum actually here in the UAE, as you'd expect, wonderful art is also teamed up with extraordinary cuisine. And one of France's most famous restaurateurs, Fouquet's, has a branch or a restaurant here, and they've also got a midday lunch. So let's see what the finest French cuisine tastes like here at the heart of the United Arab Emirates. And the restaurant's just here on the left. The entrance is just around the corner, and I think there's some rather lovely outside seating as well. Up some steps and round the corner. Extraordinary building. This is a heck of a setting to have lunch in, isn't it? And this is the entrance to the restaurant. Couldn't really tell from a distance, but it really is. An extensive a la carte menu, all sorts of things there, lots of French specialities, but I even see fish and chips. I definitely won't be having that. Then interestingly, you can scan for the menu. I noticed that seemed to go straight to a default language of Chinese, which rather surprised me, but obviously tells you a lot about the market today. Having said that, when you look on the menu here, it's in French, and then the secondary language is Russian, which certainly isn't a surprise. Caviar as well, don't think that's for me. Onion soup, love that. But this is what we're looking for down in the corner. Business lunch, weekdays from 12 until 4. 2 courses 165 dirham, or 3 courses for 220. Actually a beautiful entrance. And I've asked to see the business lunch menu, which looks very nice. Have to decide between business lunch and the a la carte once I get in. Here we are going on to the outdoor terrace. Oh, look at that. With the view onto the as yet unfinished Guggenheim. It's lovely and warm today as well. I'm outdoor on the beautiful terrace, and there actually is quite a lot of background music, which is always a YouTuber's nightmare, but that's why I'm holding the microphone so close to my mouth in the hope that it will drown out the background music. But the setting is beautiful. I've got a view directly onto the Guggenheim building site. The weather is stunning and lots of bright sunshine, and hopefully the menu is just as bright. I have the business menu, but I'm also going to have a quick look at the a la carte. Thank you very much. All looks absolutely magnificent, as you would expect. Fouquet's is of course a really famous French brand and a magnificent restaurant, so let's just have a look at the menus. There's a business menu, and you can choose either 3 courses at 220 dirham, which is around about £46, or 2 courses, starter and main course, 165 dirham, which I think is around about £35. The starters, choice of pan-seared sea scallops, that sounds delicious to me, with yellow zucchini cream and some toasted cashew nuts as well. Or Fouquet salad, which is a beautiful green salad full of wonderful natural gifts like spinach and pomegranate, cherry tomatoes and a white balsamic dressing. For the main course, there's a choice of steak and fries, but it's not just any old steak, it's Wagyu beef sirloin, crispy fries and a green pepper sauce. Then alternatively you could have fish, pan-fried sea bass fillet with truffle cauliflower puree and wild mushroom, but I know what I'm going to choose. You'll have to guess what I'm going to choose. That is if I go for this menu. And for dessert, if we get that far, you can choose either Fouquet's macaron, which is raspberry and lychee flavour, or tiramisu, which for me, a little bit like creme brulee, is always a test of a good restaurant. Now, looking at the main menu, there's all sorts of things on here. There are more expensive menus as well, which actually include drinks as well and free courses, so they also represent pretty good value. But on the main menu, for starters, for example, there's lots of seafood. You've got, for example, tuna tartare, you've got prawns, you've got salmon, you've actually got squid, you've got marinated prawn and avocado salad, you've got duck foie gras and fresh French Brittany lobster. And you've also, as you would expect, being at a French restaurant, you've got snails in garlic butter, and you've also got black caviar, although that's way out of my league. And then for main courses, there's a selection of delightful looking pastas, fish, plenty of French specialities like noix de Saint-Jacques. You've also got black cod fillet, sole meunière, but you've also got standard, or not standard I'm sure, but traditional British fish and chips, and they call the fries coin de rue, kind of street corner, so I imagine that's a wild choice. And then for main courses, you've also got duck, you've got cheeseburger, but I'm sure it's a very special one. You've got classic beef bourguignon with truffle mashed potato, and also plenty of steak alternatives. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Very good, gentlemen.
Very good. Salam. Could I have a business lunch, please? And can I decide later whether it's 2 courses or 3 courses, depending on...
This
I have to say
should
now.
be made earlier because...
Okay, I'm going to go for it then. I should go for 3 courses. I should be greedy, but I'm sure it's worth it.
We have nice dessert, you will
I have seen that. So I think I'll have the pan-seared sea scallops, please. Is that a good choice?
It is a good choice.
Excellent. Then I'll have the steak and fries.
How like a steak?
Medium rare, please.
Medium rare.
More towards the rare. I'm kind of a red meat guy.
Right.
And then for the dessert, what would you recommend between the macarons and the
I would
tiramisu?
really prefer macarons. That is
Oh,
very
really?
nice and tasty.
Why is that?
It has a little bit sweetness of flavor rather than in tiramisu you feel more of coffees inside.
That's true.
Which I don't really prefer to
Oh,
go
okay.
for in
Well,
desserts.
I'm going to. Your advice, I'm sure, is excellent, but I'm going to go for a tiramisu. I
Go
just have a
for
feeling
tiramisu.
it's going to be good.
It is nice as well.
Okay, that's of course. And could I have a large bottle of sparkling water, please?
Sparkling water, it
That's
is.
very kind.
Thank you.
Thank you. Merci. Shukran.
Shukran.
Shukran. I've been brought my bottle of Perrier, good French sparkling mineral water, in this beautiful red and white glass. Perhaps one day that will be in a contemporary art museum as well. And a couple of little Gruyere cheese bread pieces, and also a couple of slices of lemon for my drink. So I'm going to try these little cheese bites, see what they're like. Cold. But lovely. Yeah, it's not really bread. It's a little pastry with the Gruyere cheese. Lovely deep cheese flavour. For those of you visiting Paris wanting to see the original Fouquets, it's on the Champs Elysees. It's literally next to the Georges V metro station, so pretty easy to find. And I don't know how the prices compare, but obviously it's a top dining experience, although the Fouquet name has at times in its history also been associated with scandal. I'll tell you about that in just a moment, but to my surprise actually, there's also bread that's been delivered, and that looks absolutely amazing. Fresh French bread. Looking forward to digging into that. And also, just look at this almost pyramid of butter, which is very, very beautifully presented. So those are some nice added touches and added extras to the menu. It's got a really crisp and crunchy crust, but the middle is soft, almost warm, definitely very freshly baked. The bread, and it's a very generous portion, seems to be included in the menu price rather than added as an extra. We all know that in London restaurants that can sometimes be as much as £5 or £6, and I had the amuse-bouche as well. Very nice service, very lovely touch. I've also just taken a look at Fouquet's Abu Dhabi Instagram page. They do have one, and they're very proud of their chef and the fact that this is a Michelin selected restaurant. And Chef Balvier, they say, leads his team with passion and enthusiasm, well, we'd expect that, and with a culinary profile that blends simplicity with diverse flavours. And that is the impression that I've received as well from the menu. So let's hope that there's real quality behind that simplicity. It doesn't need to be super sophisticated. It's about great ingredients and wonderful cooking. I'm really looking forward to this meal. The restaurant has also been selected as one of the 50 best restaurants in the Middle East and Africa, and I've got a funny feeling, I'm hoping, that my starter is about to arrive, so I'm looking forward to this any moment now. And that looks great. Oh, that is gorgeous, wonderful. My sea scallop has arrived. This looks really delicious. I'm going to try with my spoon first. I can see those pine nuts, olive oil, all mixed up in this delicious looking sauce. That is like a rich, it's really rich, creamy vegetable soup, really. That's delicious. Heavenly flavours. And of course with that light artichoke and the little punch from the lemon as well, the herbs and spices, it's a perfect accompaniment to the scallop. I think there are some pistachios on the top of it as well. It's nicely cooked. You can see that it's been seared on the top. You can see the cooking there, how it's been seared, and it cuts so beautifully. You hardly need the knife. And inside you can see it's just been given, I think, the minimal necessary cooking. And again, it tastes amazing. A distinctive flavour, fishy flavour of scallop, but so delicate. This is super fresh as well, I can tell you. And just slicing it into thin slices in itself is a pleasure. And now I'm going to cover it with some of the sauce, make sure that there's some oil and some pine nuts and some of the Arabic herbs on there. Wow, wow, wow. Right, there's only one word for that. That is an indulgence. That was 4 words, but indulgent was the important word. And this point about simplicity, I would actually say yes, it is probably relatively simple, but there's a rich tapestry of tastes here. 2 more quick observations. The butter is really high quality. It's kind of like a beautiful salty butter from Normandy, I'm pretty sure. And although starter may not look enormous with 1 scallop, what I'm experiencing is that it's actually not only pleasurable, but it's actually quite filling. The sauce is rich, it's quite thick, and this is certainly something you don't eat in 2 or 3 minutes. First of all, you savour it, but the way it's been prepared, the way it's presented also very nicely, means that it's a feast. And I think I've been enjoying it already for around about 10 minutes. Returning to the history of the Fouquet brand and the restaurant, it was actually in 1899, so 126 years ago, that Louis Fouquet saw an opportunity to run what he thought would be a profitable restaurant on the Champs Elysees, and this was actually at the time that the buildings were rising along the Champs Elysees. Everybody from the world of art, society, technology and politics met at Fouquet's, and it also became a favourite meeting place for the world's first fighter pilots in the First World War due to the bar's name and its reputation. We won't go into that in any more detail. Thank you very much. Steak's arrived. It's a sirloin steak, medium rare, with fries. Looks very well presented. Let's hope it's tasty. Let's get stuck into this now. I put a little bit of additional salt and pepper seasoning on both the fries and on the steak, and it's actually a green pepper sauce which has been applied liberally to the steak as well. Nice sharp knife as well, cutting through the steak, which is very easy. Yep, it's nicely cooked. Looks a little bit medium to me, but not bad. The steak itself is super tender, particularly considering it's sirloin. Really, you need to scarcely bite it. Nice little bit of fat running through it as well, but not too much. Gives the meat flavour. Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed that it seems to be fairly medium. Actually, it's a bit more rare as we're heading towards the middle. Plenty of flavour. The green pepper sauce again, very light. Delicious. Complements the meat, but it doesn't overwhelm it. Lovely. It's an excellent piece of steak. It really is very tender. Now these fries, I think fries is the right word, they're not chips. a really what are called allumettes in French, which is kind of like matchsticks. You can see that they've been cut freshly because they've all got some of the potato skin left on. Very crisp on the outside, and even though they're super thin, really soft on the inside. These are excellent French fries, French style, and the seasoning I've added, I like. I think it makes them even more delicious. A little bit salty and a tiny hint of pepper. Right, I'm going to carry on eating, and we'll see you later when the dessert arrives. The pacing has been lovely with this meal. Waited a little bit after the steak for the dessert, but I think it was just great, because quite frankly, the 2 courses have filled me, and I feel as if I've actually probably eaten enough. But you can't resist the dessert, can you? Particularly not when it looks this beautiful. Look at this. This is the tiramisu, and it's also got a little piece of beautiful gold leaf on top, and just a little bit of chocolate powder. Oh, as I dig in a little bit more, I'm sorry you can't be here, but you are here. This is the Travel Minot community, but you can't taste this, unfortunately. And it's really good, I can tell you, as I dig in there, the creaminess is so soft, and then just a little bit of pastry at the bottom, or rather cake, but that's equally very soft. So creamy. Such a lovely coffee flavour. Obviously no alcohol because we're in Abu Dhabi, so I shall stay sharp all afternoon. This is a top class tiramisu. There won't be any left for you, I'm afraid. Not this time. Well, that really was a special treat. The total meal came in at 255 dirham, which is around about £53. Now that included obviously the little amuse-bouche, the bread, a whole bottle of water from Perrier, and also a 3-course meal, those beautifully seared scallop starter, and then steak, which frankly was better than Hawksmoor or Smith & Wollensky in London, which I've tried recently, and also for dessert that delicious tiramisu. I think that although it is punchy on the price side, it's really not actually bad value when you consider so many aspects. First of all, it's Fouquet, which is a Michelin selected restaurant, a famous address on the Champs Elysees in Paris. Secondly, it's obviously designed to be a luxury setting, and everything about the restaurant is that. And of course, finally, you're in the Louvre Museum in Abu Dhabi, this stunning piece of architecture. It's a unique setting. There's only one restaurant of this quality in the complex, and also you've got a beautiful terrace overlooking the sea and also overlooking the Guggenheim, to be opened in 2026. So when you take all of that into consideration, I think it's a great deal. Now, I'm always very careful, so I actually came here and will go back to my hotel by public bus, which will cost me about £1, rather than had I gone by taxi, which would have cost me nearly £20. So that's a contribution to the meal. I feel great about the experience I've had. Just look at this view, it's amazing. If you're ever here in Abu Dhabi and you come out to the Louvre, I would recommend it. And as more of the museums open, it will actually be fitting for a very special occasion. And in terms of the quality, well, the service was amazing, the food was great, and I think the value's okay as well. So my final score is going to be a Philip Saunders Travel in the Know gold medal. Well, shukran for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that your travel adventures have also been inspired, and on the culinary side as well. And we'll see you soon for another adventure on Travel in the Know. Goodbye.